They had been burned by tons and tons of them over the last 10 years. They had lost money on projects because of lenders. They had been sued by lenders. They had made mistakes picking the right type of lending. But you know what they did trust? They trusted the smaller client, the one they were mentoring. The way the world works is, who do people trust? People don't trust you as the business owner when they first meet you. They have an opinion of you, but they trust their network. They trust their people. And if someone in that network, someone amongst their people trusts the solution or has a trusted source for the solution they're looking for, you're gonna have inherently some of that trust passed on to you. It's almost impossible to really care about the person if all you do is care about the transaction first. Everybody can feel that. So when you shift your focus to caring about the person, you just have to trust that some transactions are going to work out well for you. When you have sales teams trying to sell, it's not natural, and it actually is the problem most often that you see with sales teams. So if you just allow them to try to solve the problem, they will inherently have a much better outcome in sales. So take your mindset and focus on helping people first, serving what it is their problem is, and you will find all the value in return. Welcome everybody to the next episode of the Mobilization Mindset. My name is Scott Peper, CEO and founder of Mobilization Funding, and today we're going to touch on a topic that is one of the most difficult to grasp onto for an entrepreneur, an owner, a leader in a business, someone who's in charge of marketing, someone who's in charge of sales, servicing. It's a tough topic, and it's called client value. Who's our most important client? Why are they the most important? Is there a most important client? That question is something we all struggle with. Figuring out the definition of that for your business and understanding what truly means is what we're going to go through today. And yes, understanding this definitely is part of whether you will be successful or not, and definitely part of whether or not you're going to reach any goals that you have set for your business. So what is client value anyway? Well, the truth is, it doesn't really matter. There's a lot of value. Every client can be valuable, but how should you frame client value inside your organization? Maybe it's not evaluating all of your clients and seeing who is the most valuable. Maybe it's figuring out, how do you push and portray the most value to any client or potential person that you are speaking to? Let me tell it to you like this. We had a client that came to me, ultimately became a client. This is in the early days. When they first came to us, they were very small. Matter of fact, they were just starting out. They were inside of a year in business, but we took great care of them. We listened to their concerns. We helped them along. We provided them cash flows for projects, never making them alone. They eventually got to a little bit bigger of a size, and they figured out that they did need some financing, and they actually went and were able to get a line of credit from their bank. They got it on their personal credit. They got a $50,000 line through a community banking program, and they used that $50,000 line for the next 2 years to be able to get to where they needed to go. On year 3, they were in business, and they came across a contractor that they were going to work for. And that contractor was a much larger company. But they also had built a relationship with that contractor over the last 3 years, who he happened to be a mentor of. They referred that larger contractor to us, and I spoke to them. Now, this contractor had been in business for 10 years. They were probably 15 to 20 times the size and on a very fast trajectory growth rate. They were also a person who did not trust any lenders. They had been burned by tons and tons of them over the last 10 years. They had lost money on projects because of lenders. They had been sued by lenders. They had made mistakes picking the right type of lending. But you know what they did trust? They trusted the smaller client, the one they were mentoring. When they needed financing and they reached out to that smaller client and they heard the story that that client told them about their experience with us, how we helped build cash flows for them, how we helped him negotiate his community line, how we never made a loan, but he heard the words that were spoken to them. When I spoke to that larger client and they came to us, there was no selling needed. They already trusted us. because they trusted the smaller client and the smaller client trusted us. Now, who's the most valuable in that situation? Does it really matter? Think about that. The key thing to take from this story is you should treat everybody the same. Whether someone's small in size, new, older in business, larger in business, the way the world works is who do people trust? People don't trust you as the business owner when they first meet you. They have an opinion of you, but they trust their network. They trust their people. And if someone in that network, someone amongst their people trusts the solution or has a trusted source for the solution they're looking for, you're going to have inherently some of that trust passed on to you. So the lesson to be learned from that story is you have to look at every person the same, treat them the same. Think about the lifetime value of that specific relationship, not the transaction that you're analyzing right now. Look, most of you all are not retiring in the next year. I'm not. We're going to be in business a long time. So the relationships you make today, you don't know what value they're going to have to you 5, 6, 7, 10 years from now. And you're going to need these relationships all along your journey, just like that person needs a relationship maybe from you right now. So let's not evaluate everyone on who they are, who they know, what size they might be right now, but maybe just shift to how can I help this person with their problem right now. Maybe my product or service is the solution for them, but it might not be. But I can probably help them in one way or another, whether it's information, education, and introduction. And by shifting your focus to be able to help people and looking at them on the lifetime value of the relationship you could create will totally change your perspective and reframe the way you think about business, the way you engage your customers, the way your employees engage potential customers. And that alone can transcend your business. One of the other toughest parts of business is sales. So how does this principle, how does this theory that I'm talking about right now apply to your sales group, your sales team? I mean, look, at the end of the day, your sales teams are built, they have commissions. There's certainly transactions where people can make more money on one than another, and you have to manage that influence. Well, how do you do that? How do you as a leader, or how do you as a salesperson listening to this, how does this change what you do on a daily basis? How you're going to engage the next group of relationships or people that you speak to? I'm here to tell you, after decades of sales experience, as I applied and learned all these principles, trying to sell features and benefits, managing just the transaction, it's almost impossible to really care about the person if all you do is care about the transaction first. Everybody can feel that. So when you shift your focus to caring about the person, you just have to trust that some transactions are going to work out well for you. Some are going to be small, some are going to be large, some might not happen at all, but that person is going to help spread the word for who you are, what you're about, and your business, and it will come back around. When you're managing your sales team, just have them focus on helping the customer. Build your incentive plans around how well they do that, not just how much do they make on how big of a transaction they have. Attach the commission plan to what you want them to focus on, and they will focus on it. Now, that doesn't mean skip out on how much revenue you make as a business and pay everything the same and all that. I'm not suggesting that. But what I'm telling you is make a component of your commission plan focused on what you want them to focus on and lead with it. Maybe it's a prerequisite to getting certain other commission components opened up. Maybe it's just the way you evaluate them. Maybe it's surveys. Whatever your business is, find a way to focus on that. And your sales team will too. And I promise you, the more people you have in your organization, especially your sales team, building relationships first, understanding how to solve problems and making it their focus, you will not only see an increase in your business, but you will see an increase in the quality of your business, how many people come back to you over and over again, the overall performance, and you will also find a sales team that is significantly happier. Less pressure they will have while they're talking to someone. They will just try to solve the problem, which is an innate skill that we all have inside of us, is to just try to serve. When you have sales teams trying to sell, it's not natural, and it actually is the problem most often that you see with sales teams. So if you just allow them to try to solve the problem, they will inherently have a much better outcome in sales. Trust me. So here is the mindset wrap up. How do you change what you're doing now to something different? I said in the beginning, it's not about how much value can this client bring to me. It's about how much value can you bring to that client, to that relationship. That's where your mindset needs to be. And then you need to trust and know that that alone is going to produce many different types of relationships between not only now, but over many years of time. And that relationship will inevitably deliver value back to you, either now, either in the referral of someone else, or in the matter of time that you're going to know that person. So take your mindset and focus on helping people first, serving what it is their problem is, and you will find all the value in return. I hope you found this valuable. I hope you liked this episode. Please do us a solid and share it with folks that need to hear it or you think could benefit from it. You can find us also on LinkedIn. You can also find us on our YouTube channel at Mobilization Funding. And last but not least, have a great week and may God bless you.